What's up everyone, Dan here from Busiless Music, and today in Pigments we will be designing something cool, something long evolving cinematic pad that you all love, like a drone kind of style. So even if you press one button or a chord, it sounds something like this. And if we go lower, it will be useful in so many scores and so many videos, and so much music can be made with it. Super cool, super versatile. Let's head on to the synth and let's just start it over. Okay guys, so let's go to the wavetable engine, and we're going to be needing some cool wavetable, which will be here in the fold. They're all cool, but I figure out this one sounds really good. So let's go to the foldy and let's listen to it. Super cool. Now let's sweep through it. So let's use an LFO. We are in the LFO section. You can just click on any of the LFO and it's going to get you to this screen here. So let's change this one to be free running. So it's only running all the time without any re-triggering after pressing a key. So let's go like a really slow. But we're going to do something really cool here. So we're going to be changing its speed randomly. So let's go to the random and let's find something that is random. Let's say this one seems cool. It's free running, so we will not re-trigger. Let's slow down the rate of the randomness. Smooth is okay. Distance. Perfect. So let's apply this random to the LFO. How do we do it? So we do it like that. We go to the LFO here. We remember that was a random number 2 and we assign that. So we could just drag that on this little knob here. So it's obviously going to go crazy a little bit now, much faster, much slower. So we want to diminish the effect quite drastically. So it's going to be, we will be using a little bit, just like 0.07. Let's say like that. But here in the position, we're going to be applying this LFO here again to the wavetable position. So we will visually see what's happening. So the initial position is like on 0.5 and we can sweep through it like that. So you see it speeds up and slows down a little bit randomly, which is super cool. Of course, we don't want this sound to be that open, so let's cut it off for the moment while we work on it. And that sounds already pretty cool. If we want the sound to be really big, we will use the unison, let's say. We can try a couple of these options, so let's see what they do. So we'll go unison 3.2. That sounds super cool. Let's see what else is here. Chord. But we have to change. We have to choose the chord if it's like octave or fifth or minor 7. But let's go further. That's a super kind of super unison. It sounds nice. I like it. Let's leave it like that. So mixed in half. The tune just around 2.5. Let's say 2.39. That's perfect. And the main tuning we'll leave at 0. In terms of keyboard settings, let's have a look here. We will be using the normal octave, we'll not retune it. Glide time will not be using legato, so let's leave it as this. Poly 8 velocity, everything stays as it is here. Envelopes, let's design an envelope because it will be like a drone, cinematic kind of thing, so it has to start kind of slower, not super slow though, but around like 1 second. Let's listen. That's perfect. Longer decay, around like even like 4 seconds, and slightly lower sustain. Let's listen to how it goes now. Okay, and we'll change the attack curve a little bit to a little bit of the positive, so it's kind of glides up to the full volume. And we add a lot of release, let's say 2 seconds will be fine. That's great. And we also want to design a little bit of the second envelope that will help us with the filters. So same attack, a little bit slower, maybe a bit faster than in the amp envelope. Decay, also quite longer, sustain, somewhere here, and then release. We're just going to play it for now and let's see how it works. Let's just add it to the filter and how it sounds now. Let's add a little bit of a resonance, a little bit of a keyboard, so the higher keys will play, the more open the filter will be. Let's drive a little bit. Already sounds nice. Perfect. Now let's add something random. So we have our LFO1, which is pretty random. Let's add it to the filter number 1 cutoff as well. So let's do like that. Let's make a little bit smaller range, something tiny, so it kind of is unpredictable. And we will of course need another LFO, which will also be random, because if we're doing like a cinematic kind of things, we don't always want to control them completely, so we want a little element of randomness. So let's do the same here. Let's slow down the rate. Let's add the random element, but this time slightly different. Let's add this one here. That will be retriggering. We don't want it to be retriggering, so random number 1 will control the rate of this LFO number 2. Okay, so it'll be faster, much faster, slower, nearly stopped. That's perfect. 0.13 looks pretty cool, and let's slow down the rate here even more. It can be a bit faster, but we don't want it to be too fast. Yeah, that seems nice. Let's add another filter, filter number 2. We will also be using something with some cool characters. So let's go to MS20, low pass 12. Let's change the filter's order from serial to parallel. Doesn't do any difference now, but we'll do later. A little bit of a resonance here. And we can mix a little bit so it goes to both of the filters. That's perfect. And then this LFO number 2 that we designed, it's going to be controlling this second filter. So it will just bring it sometimes up, sometimes down. That's perfect. And we can pan these filters a little bit also. So filter number 1 will be, let's say 38% on the left. The other will be, let's say the 40-40 split. That's super cool. Okay, let's design another engine. So engine number 2, we'll use a cool sample. So let's find a cool sample. It will not be piano. It is like a granular kind of thing. So granular friendly. Let's use the one called Mega Diapason. Let's use this one. Let's start it from here. Let's switch off the engine number 1. Let's see what it does. Let's also add it to both of the filters. Let's make it granular. And let's change the slope. That's very rhythmical. Let's change the density, randomness, direction both ways, size, random, and also volume a little bit more random. Pitch can be a little bit as well, and the start position as well. We'll be scanning. Let's scan it. Mike, you don't like it. Yeah, so let's change it to triangle. That sounds much better. It sounds mysterious and spooky. That's what it's all about. So let's turn both of the engines. Let's bring it up a little bit because it's too dark. But it's too loud for my taste. So also actually let's be scanning the start. So use the LFO number 1 to scan the start position of the sample. So it's going to start from random points. So it will be really random in every moment of the playing, and each moment will be different. Okay, that's super cool. And now let's head on to the utility engine and let's add a little bit of the noise, so not too much. Also into the both filters. Just a bit. The noise that is actually selected is just fine, we don't need to change it. White noise is perfect. Do we want to use an oscillator with a sub bass? We could. No, that's a little bit of a mess, but let's see -12. Okay, cool. Let's design some effects because I'm getting carried away. We will be using two slots, FXA and FXB. Let's design something cool. Just remember that we kind of split these two filters separately, so they're not going one after another, but they're just being processed separately, but they both are getting summed here to the one output, and they're all going to go through the effects A and B. We can, of course, design how much of the effects we want here or here, but let's leave it as it is at the moment. So FXA, let's choose something nice. So first things first, shimmer. Let's make the size a little bit bigger. And then let's leave it as it is, normal. And let's just listen. Already sounds great, perfect. Now let's add a tape echo. Let's go for the ping pong times dotted only 1/8, and let's listen to it now. Super cool. So now let's design another thing. So multiband compression, just to tame these frequencies, because we have too much of the low frequencies here sometimes. So let's dial it up. Let's go here. Yeah, and let's compress it as it is. Maybe take the lows a little bit lower. We want to have like a mid-range kind of drone. So let's go here, but let's not compress it that much. Let's allow these mids to go through a little bit. That's super nice. We don't have that much of the highest frequencies. We do sometimes, so we also want to have control over them. That should be fine. Super cool. Now FXB, what cool can we do here? Let's go also to some kind of reverb. So let's spread the sound a little bit even more. Decay around like more than a second. Well, that's not in a second. So like longer decay. Let's listen to only effects B. Without, very dry. And the second effect will be distortion. Let's find something really cool, but nothing really too hard. The tape distortion would be nice. Sounds great. I wouldn't change much. And then the second thing will be another reverb, which is going to give us the little cool effect. Okay, let's put both the effects in and let's listen to it now. Okay, we have this drive a little bit too much. Let's go down. Let's tune it as we go. But that's like sounds super cool and optimistic, depending on the chord you play, of course. Not anymore. Let's go higher. Okay, that's super cool. I'm getting carried away, so let's quickly save it. We can also design what the module will do actually before we save it. So let's go to the module here and let's assign it to the amount of distortion. So let's add a little bit drive. Let's not be afraid of it. Okay, that's perfect. Let's add a little bit of the first reverb. And in the effects section here, we will be adding a little bit more of low frequency. So it's going to be like super dark and low. And we will speed up some things with the module. So let's go to the synth section. Actually, no, let's go to the LFO section and let's first, of course, open the filter a little bit. Okay, perfect. What also does the module do? That's just what it does. Okay, perfect. And also let's add this mod wheel. Where are we? To the speed of the frequencies here, but not that much, just a tiny bit. I want to speed it up a little bit. Also this one. And let's listen to what the module will do now. Okay, cool, but I want a little bit more of the low frequency, so let's go here, low, more lows. Okay, a little bit better, that's great. I think we're clipping here in this moment. Okay, that's cool. Now we're talking. Okay, so this super cool part is ready. Let's quickly save it. Hopeless feelings. And let's go to the path, and it will be like evolving path. Comments, we'll add the comments later. And it will be analog, not really. Delay, distorted, hybrid, granular. Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's save it. Of course, this patch will be available to download from my website. The link is in the description box down below. Now, of course, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. That's super important. And I guess, yeah, that's it from me for today. Feel free to watch other synth creations of mine. And thanks so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.